Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew. Some random comics from ye old spinner rack, and here's the fly number one. And I have to tell you, it's my favorite Red Circle revival book of all time so far. I haven't bought them all yet, but there's Mighty Crusaders and stuff, and I'll tell you why. It's just the strongest straight through. Rich Buckler was sort of like the de facto editor in chief. He was like script, editing, plot, stuff like that. Although this plot was by Jack C. Harris, excuse me, and it's Rich Buckler is doing the script, and the art and lettering is by James Sherman, who, if you're a Legion of Superheroes fan, you'll know he's one of those guys who's his art just grew by leaps and bounds over the years, and it's so hard to describe. It's so appealing, and there's not a lot of people who draw like him, especially later on. He did a fill-in issue of Silver Surfer that was really cool. It's like he'll go for the minimum stuff. He doesn't have to. He does designy stuff as well. My only hang up about the Fly is the magic ring. I just hate that. I hate that origin. It just seems too 1, 2, 3 easy. So, wow, what poses! And that guy there. So I'm a troublemaker. Hang on. Look at that. I love the spotting of the blacks. Look at the shirt and the pants and the sleeves. James Sherman. If his name was not on here, I would have no idea who it was. I love this corpulent, spry, spider spry. And here's something. This is a wild panel here. This is a very different kind of panel. Man, so trippy. It's so cartoony, yet it's like bridged between cartoony and realism. And the acting and his figures are just magnificent. This middle panel here, I love. He like dropped any real hard lines except maybe on the fingers, because he just wanted like a snapshot. And since he is James Sherman, he could do all kinds of stuff. Oh my gosh, that's great. But the acting that goes on with these characters. And this is easily my favorite Red Circle comic so far. I've read quite a few because they're pretty cheap to get back issues. There he is, the corpulent spider. And you know what's weird? I sort of almost see like a precursor to Paul Smith in some of this stuff. You know, what do you guys think, guys and gals? Well, who is the man with the double life of Private Strong, who was yet another character called the Shield. Original Shield was in 1940 with Archie Comics. Pep Comics was the name of that particular title, and he beat Captain America by a good 6 months at least. And now this guy came in the 50s when the other one was, put mothballs. Script, art, and editing, Rich Buckler. When I first saw this for a second, I thought it's either an old Kirby reprint, or seeing that helmet, I thought, is it a new Kirby thing? And it's like toned down by somebody inking it. But no, it's just him going for that Kirby stuff, Rich Buckler. This is really great stuff. This is Trevor Von Eden. Look how, wow, his stuff his storytelling is magnificent. And you know what? Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe it inspired Norm Brayfogle, who came along later, because I see that too. Just that outrageous, like those long-reaching arms and such. So Avengers West Coast. When Byrne decided to quit Avengers West Coast, they hired Roy Thomas, and what happened was Jim Shooter had left. And he was the reason Thomas left, because he wanted to stay a writer-editor, and Shooter wanted to get rid of that, which I agree with on that case, because you had a lot of guys just writing by rote, and they were basically their own editors, meaning like, they were professional, but there was a sameness to it. There was nobody to answer to, so there was a lot of dull stuff in the late 70s. So this is like early Actually, it's either early 90s or I could always look at this, 1992. Okay. This Spider-Woman's pretty cool. They never really gave her much of a shot. She was the second one. Her costume was based on the outfit that Spider-Man got on the Beyonder world, and she actually showed up there first. I think. Did she? Oh, long time. I like Dave Ross's Spider-Man. And she's a great Avenger. She's a great fit for the Avengers. So, this is something real nice. It's inked by Tim Zahn. Dave Ross is Tim Zahn. I don't know how you say that. But, yeah, Roy Thomas and his wife, Dan Thomas, they're writing the book. And I've always wondered, because they sort of were a team since the early 80s. And I just can't figure, I don't know what the division of labor is. I don't know if like sometimes in some collaborations, some writers are simply like the keep track of stuff. So anyway, this guy and his little girl almost dies. Here comes Julia Carpenter is her name, and he's her ex-husband. And what are you saying? You barged into some trailer? Your Grand Sam play could have put this child in terrible danger. My child too, Larry. What are you talking about? What? And he goes, if you're lucky, you'll see Rachel in my presence on Christmas Day. So he's really pissed off. And she's torn. She's got these powers and responsibilities. That Iron Man costume is pretty wild. So I love this guy's helmet. And he passes away. So even though they were estranged, he didn't deserve that. So it's hard. This guy here with the back to us, his name is Living Lightning, who was a spin-off from the Hulk Tales to Astonish story, where they had the Lords of the Living Lightning, and they were basically a bunch of radicals. They were kind of like Hydra, and they had these electrical gadget machines that they were gonna like blast the rest of the world with and conquer something. I don't remember. It was a Silver Age thing. So okay, well, John Romita Jr., son of the famed John Romita, takes over Spider-Man, and yet it wasn't that great. And you know why? Because I just don't think Denny O'Neil's really into it. His Spider-Man really felt like a placeholder between Marv Wolfman and Roger Stern, because it's so quiet. I know you don't have to stick all the Marvel Universe people in there and crisscross that, but it's really hard to explain. That's just my opinion. Well, there's this his apartment is caving in from a fire. Jim Mooney on the inks. He inked Spider-Man for a long time. But already you see the magic that John Romita Jr. is bringing. He's got that. But he's a ways to go, but he's still cool. And so there's some temporary apartments that people in the other temporary lodgings for those who had their apartments soaked. So he's hanging out. Come on, focus, Pally. And he's like, oh boy, your luck has changed. I'll get some Z's and phone a few friends. By the time we threw a party anyway, some loud music. I might have known paradise wouldn't last. And this attractive woman says, hi, I hope I'm not intruding. And he should have said, because intruding you? I would have said, shit, you ain't. No, you're not. Come on in. So, that's a real charming way to get women to come in your place. So she says, may I borrow your TV for an hour? There's a special on Rikers Island I want to watch. And the set they gave me is broken. So she got her Daisy Dukes and stuff. And they're hanging out. And Do you mind lending me your shoulder? I'm so weary from the excitement of the fire. Uh-huh. Very exciting fire. He's like, yeah. So the Frightful Four leave because they got to go somewhere and get defeated again. So there's this fourth member that is in shadow and is person associated with Submariner, and he's going to go to the surface. Spider-Man swinging. I had to get out of here and swing to clear my head. What that girl does to me isn't real. I mean, I've been attracted to pretty ladies before, but whenever I get close to her, I'm wrecked. Maybe there's no such thing as, or maybe there is such a thing as love at first sight, but this is a darn good imitation. That Spider-Man face is so Ramita. So Mary goes into Spider-Man's friendly neighbor. That's great. Wow, classic Marvel. Why am I having so much trouble focusing? I don't rightly know. So Spider-Man gets away for the moment. And he's given somebody a pretty good fight because he'd been out of the water for a while. But not for long. He's ready to beat the shit out of Spider-Man. I love those shadows there. But it's Lyra, not to be confused with Bira. She was the one who killed Lady Dorma on the eve of the wedding with her and Submariner. So she's just an evil SOB. And they're trapped for now. We'll see next issue. It's a two-parter. I love this. This is a little fun thing they did for Days of Future Past when the X-Men died in the future. Hi, kids, we're back again. And we've killed all the X-Men, really, except Kitty. And she's real small. Okay. Street something, 2005. What's it called? Street Heroes. Yeah. That is horrible cover. I mean, the cover's great. The lettering is awful. It's just awful. Can you read that? I bought the damn thing out of the bargain bin just because I'm obsessed with like 80s black and white comics. And the artist by Chris Jones, who I really, really like. I was really impressed because it's, come and go with some of these books, especially when people are up in covers, but I don't know what happened to this guy afterwards. He's got his own thing going on. This is like a media thing. Everyone's talking about, sharing their opinions. It went on a little too long, but how about that? Establishing shots. What I like is you have the regular lines, and then you get this. That's very like Tony Salmons, however you say his name, or even David Mazzucchelli during the Born Again era of Daredevil. So the panels go from super tight to loose, almost as if there's a different hand in there, but I think The Walking Dead. Malibu Graphics. I guess they let the license lapse, and I don't know. So, because this is in the 80s. Had to clear my throat there. I even like the inks. It's like they're just free flowing, and it works. And look at the background here. You don't see this stuff anymore in Marvel Comics. They hire people who just like screen capture stuff, and then they tweak it around, and there's no backgrounds. And they do a half-assed manga thing where there's speed lines, and the figures take up most of the panel. So this is really good stuff. And like I said, it's even the hair, as rough as that hair looks, it works. I really like the one that's next to my thumb here. It looks like he used a crow quill, maybe? I don't know. But and then the foreground, this guy right above the word 13. Look at those bold lines on the shoulders of his suit and the arm. I know I'm going crazy over this, but this guy's great. I like the pages spelled out. Look at those faces. He has such a command. And he's trying all kinds of stuff. There's some line work. It's like he's experimenting, but he's not being true to his own style. It all fits. Does that make any sense? Am I too pompous by saying that? Maybe. The acting of the characters in here is super. So, but that logo just was awful. Street Heroes 2005. I almost thought that was like, I know it might have been trying to go for like a Japanese pseudo lettering, but it fails. But that's okay. The rest of the book is awesome. Awesome. There's only 3 issues of it, unfortunately. Thor. I wasn't buying Thor much this era because Len Wein, he and Gary Conway before him were kind of, and even afterwards, whoever's writing it then, I think Len Wein kept writing it, it was so dry. It was mostly in Asgard, which can be interesting, but back then, a lot of books were just, people were, Len Wein was a writer-editor, Marv Wolfman was a writer-editor, Conway was a writer-editor, Roy Thomas, and the thing is, all that means is I'll just bang out some shit every week, every month, and had no supervision whatsoever. But they're professional enough to know how to make sure the book comes out. They're not going to putz around. But it just led to a lot of... it just really had a paint-by-numbers sort of tone to a lot of it. And also, the voices of the characters were very similar. Very stodgy, very straight. And I'm not saying you have to be like kooky, silly, wacky, it's just very stodgy, and everybody had the same voice. So, Kirby cover, laid out by Marie Severin. Tony DiZuniga is the embellisher. As a kid, I didn't appreciate him, but now I love him on Thor. Because, Thor is sort of a superhero. He has those trappings, but, Wine does do a good job on a lot of it. But, except for this issue, there's a lot of stuff that's not terribly exciting. So, man, Gog kills me. I love it. So there's a, let me see. So, Magog is transformed into Odin, an illusion. I can't wait to see a look at their faces. Man. Buscema draws something so stately. That's a great thing about his work on Thor. And he is humbled by Odin, quote-unquote. The god of thunder has conspired to overthrow by just and rightful rule. And let him serve as a bitter example that no one else will dare commit so violent act again. But the Warriors 3 get out and spread the word, as well as Broomhild, who's next to my thumb. And I can't think of that lady, Queen of the Norns. There's Sif. There's Volstagg doing his thing. And what I really like too is Volstagg, he's leading the charge, and that's what's great because so many years he was just an excuse to do fat jokes. He was like the scaredy cat fat guy, and it really got old. It really did. So, and then when Simonson took over, he did a fantastic job with Volstagg. There we go. There we go. Just drink it in. So Odin just starts taking down Balder and all these other guys, and they can't understand why he's doing that. Wham. I'll zoom in on that bad boy. Turns characters into pigs. Makes her an old crone. Thor brings down the house. Alas, thou hast served thy purpose, little Igran, and I find I no longer have need of thee. 'Tis time thou didst return to the vile dust that spawned thee. But Igran's death scream fades swiftly, and for a moment a silent pallor falls over the crowd, and then a trembling hand points excitedly, and a frightened murmur spreads like wildfire through the milling throng. A murmur that finds its voice in the defiant figure of Hildegard. Varlet, thou art not the good and noble Lord Thunder of Odin stuff, but the malevolent menace who hath ever been called Mangog. There's nothing you can do to stop me. So, what a great Kirby character. Get that weird ass tail. He's going to take the Odin sword, which you're not supposed to do, except in times of emergencies. I mean, actually, it's supposed to signal the end of the world when it gets pulled. So, here comes. Well, I love that third panel there, where that's a great pose. I don't think I've seen that anywhere. He's just so charged up. Man. And he fades away because he was only there because people thought he was Odin, and they had, in a way, worshipped him because he was the Allfather. And it turns out when he found his Mangog, any worship of him went away. So he literally used himself up. And excellent stuff. I hope you dug it, and I will talk to you all later.